I had a message as I was running, and it came to my heart, and it's kind of going off what I talked about last week, about not letting them take your life, not letting it take your life, and about taking your life back. You know, this Monday morning might sound a little bit insensitive, but I got to be able to push you. I know some of you have heard this message from me 99 times, but maybe this 100th time is the time that you actually take it to heart and actually make a change with your life and do what you're supposed to do. It's your life at the end of the day, and it's time for you to take your life back. I don't care who took it from you. I don't care what took it from you. It is time for you to take your life back and get your life back. Like, do something about it. Please, you have to do something about it this week. You cannot keep complaining about the things you aren't willing to change. You can't keep talking about certain things that you aren't willing to change. And I get it. I know it's hard. I know it hurts. I know it seems impossible. I know it's easier said than done. I know, nobody supports you. I know you've been in this situation for years of your life. You don't know what to do with your life. You feel lost. You feel, inadequate. You feel less than. You feel all these things, all these emotions that are lying to you. But I just have to tell you that you have to take a step towards your change. You have to take a step towards bettering your life. You have to take a step, even with me today. Today was a step for me to actually better my life this week. I knew I had to do this journey today. It might seem something simple like, oh, Trent, you run miles every single day, but today was really hard for me to do it. I had tons of excuses, but I know I needed something in my life this week, and I had to take this step towards getting that something. So the question that I want to ask you, and I know it sounds insensitive, but I'm coming from a loving and caring place, is what are you going to do about it now? Like, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, that person did this to you. What are you going to do about it now? And I don't mean nothing negative towards that person. I don't mean any type of negativity, but how are you going to turn that negative thing to something positive? How are you going to turn that pain into your greatest gain in your life? You realize that. See, a lot of us, we look at things as bad things. We say, oh, this is bad. This is bad that it happened. But how many of you, answer this question, how many of you can honestly say that there's things that you thought were bad at the moment that turned out to be the greatest thing that happened to you, that turned out to be good? Maybe you got fired from a job and it was terrible at the moment. What am I going to do? But maybe that firing of that job led you to something better. I know I can raise my hand about that. Maybe you lost a relationship, but maybe losing that relationship that you cared so much about, maybe they didn't care about you, led you to a better relationship, led you to a better marriage. You wouldn't have never met the person that was the heart that was meant to love you if you would have never broke away from that person that you loved so much that didn't care about you. Maybe some friends, turned their back on you and it hurt because you went through this period of loneliness. But maybe if those friends would have never have turned their back on you, maybe you wouldn't have met that strong circle that you have now. See, it's very hard to try to connect the dots when we look towards the future. And so I want you today to say, you know what? Whatever it is that I'm going through, whatever is stripping my confidence, whatever is stripping my faith, whatever is disempowering my life, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to find the goodness. Even though it was meant for evil, even though it was meant to harm me, I'm going to find the good in this. Even though it was meant to take me out, even though it was meant to lead me to depression, I'm going to find the goodness. Even though this caused a tremendous amount of pain that I never felt in my life, I'm going to find the strength in this pain. And you have to operate your life like that. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear this. I know a lot of you want this inspiration that makes you feel good, right? To get you through the day. It's like medicine. Okay, let me just take some medicine to get me through the day. But if you never get down to the root issues, if you never change your core beliefs, if you never change your mindset, guess what? Those problems are going to find its way back to the surface. You're going to live an up and down type of life. And I don't want you to live an up and down type of life. I want you to make the changes that you need to make to actually better your life. I need you to let go of the things you need to let go of. I need you to burn the bridges that you need to burn. But it starts with you doing something about it. And if you knew nothing about it, nothing will change. You understand that. You have to do something about it. This week, do something about it. Take your life back. Take your life back. Whatever has been that thief that has stole your joy, that has stole your peace, that has stole your happiness, it's time for you to take your life back. It's time for you to take the power out of the thing that is leaving you powerless. It's time for you to take your life back. Okay? They have held your heart captive for too long. They have held your growth captive for too long. They have held your progression captive for too long. It is time for you to take your life back. Take it back. Maybe it's sickness that has held you captive for too long. It's time for you to get out here, protect your peace, protect your mental health. It's time for you to do something, eat better. It's time for you to change your mindset towards the food. Whatever it is, it's time for you to take your life back. Okay? Take your life back. Please Please, because nothing will change without making changes. Y'all have heard me say that a million, gazillion, quadrillion times, and I will never stop saying that. Because when I truly understood that fact, when I truly understood that complaining about it did nothing about it, when I truly understood, even though what I was complaining about was absolutely true, but that truth didn't change anything in my life, it was just truth, I said, okay, I have to do something about it. I have to. Take your life back. Stop allowing waiting on closure to control your life. Close the chapter and take your life back. Take your life back. Use that thing to empower you. Use that thing to empower you. Use the stones, right, they have thrown at you to build something beautiful. Use that thing to empower you. Please. And I get it. It's not hearing this message and everything changes. That's not life. Healing is a process. Healing is a journey. But in order to get to your destination, you got to be willing to take the first step. You got to be willing to take the first step. A lot of us, I had a conversation with my masseuse the other day, and we talked about, she used an analogy and said, if you were hurt, right, and say a beam was on your leg, what's the first thing that you have to do? And I answered, I said, you got to take the beam off. She said, that's crazy, Trent, because you're the first person that actually said that. Most people would say, you got to do something else, but you first have to take the beam off, right, off your leg. And it's the same type of illustration in your life. A lot of us, we're expecting healing without taking that beam off. We got to take the beam off. What does that mean? We have to remove the pain. We have to remove the environment that's causing the pain. We have to remove the person. We got to remove the friend. We got to remove our own habits if we're causing the pain. We have to change that in order to create lasting change in our life. And that's not an easy decision at all, but you got to make that decision. And listen, I go through my battles too. I'm not perfect. I'm not talking to you from a place of perfection like I got it all figured out. That's why I'm out here. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to talk to God, but I'm sharing with you my journey as I grow. I'm sharing with you the things that I know that have worked for my life. I'm sharing with you the things that I've coached plenty of people to do that has worked for their life. And it's not, it's crazy. It's not a hard thing to do. But it's almost the hardest thing to do. It's not hard to make a decision, but it's very hard to make a decision, right? It's kind of that, So you have to be honest and real with yourself and say, where do I want my life to go from here? Where do I want my life to go from here? And you have to ask yourself a truthful question. By keeping these things in my life, whatever those things are for you, is it going to lead me to a place where I want my life to go, how I want to feel with my life? And if your answer is no, you have to take the necessary step to say, okay, well, I have to make this decision and choice. I have to make this decision and choice. And I got to get out the BC mindset, the blame and complain mindset. Even though that makes me feel good, even though it's right to point the finger, it still does nothing for my life. And I got to get into that AC mindset, right? That accept and change. I've accepted that this happened. Now I'm going to change my situation. I'm going to change my environment. Okay? And I know a lot of my messages are based around self-worth, but guys, that's what I'm about. That's what I care about. I don't care about all these external things. Like, those things are great, like, cool. I care about healing, man. I honestly don't even really care about growth much without healing. Me and my masseuse talked about that too. We live in a growth environment. Everybody wants to grow, and I get it because I talk about growth. But it does no good to grow your life if you're not healing your life. What does that mean? It does no good to add all these add-ons to your life, whether it be significant things, whether it be monetary things, whether it be all these things that we think will fulfill us. It does no good if we never heal, because if we never heal, guess what? That thing is still there, and that thing will find its way back to the surface at some point in your life. And so I'm big on healing, because healing frees you, man. Healing frees you. Financial freedom doesn't free you. Being famous doesn't free you. Having all these things in the world doesn't free you. Healing frees you, right? Healing frees you. And that's why every single day I'm healing. Healing is a lifelong process. I'm out here every single day healing. Healing. Talking to God, man. So it's not as easy as I say it is. I get that. It's very hard to take that first step. So I'm proud of anybody that's trying to take the first step. But again, the thing that I tell myself every single morning that I tell you is like, hey, do something about it, Trent. Do something about it. If you got a problem with it, do something about it. Complaining ain't gonna change it. Do something about it. And me doing something about it changes my life, all right? You guys have a great Monday. I'll see you soon. Let's get it.